Let me put the comment, the title for our live. And let's wait while Instagram tells people that we are live. There's always a reason to always choose joy. There's something deeper that the world can destroy. Smile when you think you can. Smile, get up and dance. Smile, there's a bigger plan. The storm only lasts for a while. So smile. Happiness is wonderful, but it doesn't stick around. Walking on sunshine, then here come the clouds. You can laugh or you can cry when it all falls apart. Nelson, welcome to the live. I'm starting soon. Tô começando daqui a pouquinho. Let's enjoy the song a little bit. Vamos curtir um pouquinho a música. Guardando aí enquanto o Instagram vai avisando. Quem assistir depois da gravação pode pular essa parte ou só curtir a música. Just enjoy the song. This live will be in English. Can you hear the song, Gelson? Can you hear the song? Lúcia, can you hear? Consegue ouvir, Lúcia, a música? There's something deeper that the world can destroy. Smile when you think you can. Eveline também, seja bem-vinda. Lúcia, Gelson. Can you guys hear the song? Vocês conseguem ouvir a música? Estão me ouvindo bem? Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I believe there's a delay. Acredito que tem um delay. Perfect. Do you have reasons to smile? Do you have reasons to smile? Vocês têm motivos para sorrir? What are your reasons to smile? Comenta, bota aí nos comentários. What are your reasons to smile? Quais são os teus motivos para sorrir? Essa live é em inglês, sejam muito bem-vindos. Quem for assistir depois na gravação também já se sinta acolhido. Lógico que quem participa ao vivo tem a chance de interagir, né? E fica bem mais divertido quem consegue participar ao vivo e vai interagindo. This live is in English. In the beginning, I give some announcements. I bring people up to speed. Então, nesse iniciozinho, onde eu vou dando as boas-vindas, eu vou dizendo, né, o que eu estou fazendo aqui e vou dando alguns avisos também. Então, I do lives every Thursday. Então, eu faço lives sempre às quintas-feiras, às 20h30. Então, eu não sei como é que tá aí a qualidade da live. Eu tô notando que dá uma oscilação. Às vezes tem mais gente, às vezes tem menos gente. But let's try. Let's keep going. Mas vamos seguir. I do lives every Thursday, always at 8:30. This live is in English. There are lives that are only in Portuguese. And there are lives that are English and Portuguese, consecutive translation. Então, tem lives que eu faço em português, e aí depois eu faço a live em inglês. Tem lives que eu faço em inglês e português, com tradução consecutiva. Why? Because I want people to have exposure to English. Então, por que eu faço isso? Porque eu quero que as pessoas tenham exposição ao inglês. Essa aqui é a minha ideia. The topic that I'm talking about tonight is the same topic that I talked about last Thursday. I used to do lives on Wednesdays and then now I've been doing lives on Thursdays. Então, eu costumava fazer as lives nas quartas-feiras e aí comecei a fazer as lives nas quintas-feiras. Tá bem oscilando bastante mesmo. Eu não sei como é que tá a qualidade aí para vocês que estão assistindo. Quem é que tá por aí? Tá conseguindo me ver bem? A qualidade tá boa, não tá? Eu estou aqui mais aqui contextualizando para a gente poder entrar no assunto mesmo, e aí a gente vai entrar totalmente em inglês. Nesse iniciozinho aqui eu quero ter certeza quem está aqui, se está conseguindo me ver e me ouvir bem, e se deu alguma queda ou como é que está aí a qualidade da live. Tá boa assim? Beleza, beleza então. So, what do I talk about? Luciele, welcome, Malu. Já vão então mandando o aviãozinho, sabe? Para as pessoas aí que vocês acham que deveriam estar aqui, ou porque estão sofrendo, ou porque tem gente sofrendo por perto, porque o tópico dessa noite é justamente isso: vamos parar de sofrer. Vamos parar de sofrer. A gente não controla o que acontece fora, mas a gente pode controlar como a gente se sente. Então, eu já vou começar daqui a pouco a falar inglês, né? Então, todas as quintas-feiras eu trago temas aqui. São padrões, são coisas que nos limitam, certo? Por quê? Porque eu acredito que a gente pode ter uma vida com mais leveza. Essa é a minha missão, é contribuir com as pessoas para que elas tenham mais leveza. E com isso elas sejam mais alegres, sejam mais harmônicas, e a gente consegue construir um mundo com mais paz. Essa é a minha missão, né? Então, se alguém por acaso não me conhece ainda, meu nome é Ângela Medeiros, eu sou trainer em programação neurolinguística, já fiz assim muita coisa, já fiz muita coisa. Daqui a pouco eu já vou entrar no assunto mesmo da live, e aí a partir daí vai ser só em inglês. Nesse iniciozinho, o que eu quero com a contribuição de vocês? Pega papel e caneta. Por quê? Porque vai ter muita coisa boa aqui, inclusive talvez termos que você veja em inglês ou expressões que eu vá usando. Pega papel e caneta para você poder ter chance de se expressar também. São lives reflexivas, as lives que eu faço, eu falo de padrões. Então, pega papel e caneta para você poder ir anotando. A outra coisa, já pega também... já vai avisando para as pessoas, manda o aviãozinho aí para pessoas que você acha que podem se beneficiar desse conteúdo também, tá? Manda o coraçãozinho também, se tá gostando, porque aí o Instagram vai vendo que o assunto aqui tá quente, que o assunto aqui tá legal, e o Instagram vai notificando outras pessoas também. Então eu dizia assim, qual é a minha missão? A minha missão é justamente colaborar com as pessoas para que elas tenham mais leveza. Porque já tem tanta gente sofrendo, né? Já tem tanta gente sofrendo, a gente vem carregando pesos muito grandes e dá para ser mais leve. Então eu venho trazendo temas para que as pessoas possam se beneficiar disso, tá? Qual é o ponto aqui? Eu tenho dado enfoque mais para as pessoas que estão trabalhando com inglês. Às vezes elas estão carregando um peso para aprender inglês ou para falar inglês, né? E para mim não foi difícil aprender inglês. Por quê? Porque eu não briguei com isso, mas eu sei que essa não é a realidade de todo mundo. Eu lido com alunos direto e existe uma briga, existe uma resistência, né? Então os alunos às vezes até sofrem com relação ao inglês também. Então eu venho trazendo temas aqui que é para a gente poder trabalhar em cima deles e você também conseguir essa fluência que você busca para você, tá? Então eu dizia que meu nome é Ângela Medeiros, eu sou trainer em PNL, já morei na Califórnia, sou natural do Rio de Janeiro, estou morando em Porto Alegre já há 20 anos, e uma das coisas que eu já fiz bastante na minha vida é a mudança, né? E a programação neurolinguística foi um dos fatores chaves para eu conseguir fazer todas as mudanças que eu já fiz. E eu justamente trago a programação neurolinguística para os atendimentos que eu faço, eu trago a programação neurolinguística para as minhas aulas de inglês, para os meus encontros em grupo, né? Por que eu estou fazendo essa movimentação toda aqui? Para que as pessoas tenham acesso ao que eu vou oferecer também, tá? Eu estou na segunda edição do Journey to Flow, que é o meu programa em grupo, para ajudar as pessoas a fluírem no inglês, 100% online. E agora em agosto eu vou lançar a terceira edição. Então, Se você sabe de alguém que quer se desenvolver no inglês e que está travado, já avisa para essas pessoas, porque elas já vão fazendo contatos comigo. Já tem alguns alunos que estão fazendo algumas aulas individuais, que é para poder já ir esquentando os motores. As lives também são uma forma de esquentar esses motores aí, tá? Outra coisa também que eu vou estar fazendo é o Mastermind. O Mastermind em inglês, que eu estou chamando de Master Flow. O que é o Master Flow? É um Mastermind em inglês para empreendedores. So, Master Flow, já guarda aí, depois que eu fizer o lançamento da terceira edição do Journey to Flow, eu já vou também lançar o Master Flow, certo? É para quem? Para quem já tem um nível de fluência, para quem já consegue falar um pouco e quer oportunidades para justamente estar conversando com o benefício de poder estar entre pessoas que estão no mesmo barco, que estão lidando com os mesmos desafios, que são os desafios do empreendedorismo. Então, a gente vai conversar em inglês com assuntos de empreendedorismo. Essa que é a ideia do Master Flow em inglês. Então, já vão me ajudando aí também a divulgar, certo? O quórum hoje está um pouquinho mais baixo, mas vamos seguindo assim mesmo. Por quê? Porque eu acho que quem precisa estar aqui, quem quer estar aqui, está. E se você lembrar de mais alguém, já manda o aviãozinho também, convida para que outras pessoas também estejam aqui conosco. Let's get started! Vamos começar então. Vani também, bem-vinda. Liliane, aos poucos o pessoal está chegando. Now it's the time when I'm really starting. Now is the time that I'm really starting. And this live is in English. Então essa live, esse é o momento em que eu estou realmente começando. Lili, que bom que você está aqui. E agora, a partir de agora é o momento onde eu vou falando inglês. Lá no finalzinho, aí eu puxo de volta para o português. A qualquer momento, sintam-se à vontade de me fazer perguntas, de fazerem comentários. Cláudia também, que bom que você está aqui. De fazer comentários, de fazer perguntas. Não vou me sentir confortável de fazer pergunta ou comentário em inglês. Pode fazer em português, tá? O que eu quero é que seja bem interativo, bem interativo. Se você, por algum motivo, não assistiu a live da semana passada, esse conteúdo que eu estou passando aqui, eu passei na semana passada todo em português. Lógico que não é igual, por causa da interação, porque já foram outras ideias que foram surgindo aqui na minha cabeça da semana passada para agora, nunca é totalmente igual. Mas a base, a essência é a mesma, certo? Então, a partir de agora é o momento onde eu só falo em inglês. Márcio também chegou em boa hora, é o momento onde eu viro agora a chave para falar inglês. Alright, let's get started. Vamos começar. Let's get started. So, what is suffering? The topic for this live is let's stop suffering. So, I went to the Wikipedia for the definition of suffering. I must be honest, I looked it up in Portuguese and I liked the definition in Portuguese better than I liked the definition in English. The definition in Portuguese was more concise, was more objective. The definition in English was long, right? So what did I do? I translated the definition from the Wikipedia in Portuguese to English, and that's the definition that I'm sharing. Up to this moment, how much can you understand from what I said? Let me know. 0%? 0%? 10%? 50%? 80%? 100%? Just give me an idea of how much you can understand of what I'm saying. Me dá uma ideia aí do quanto você entendeu do que eu falei até agora, dessa parte que eu falei só em inglês. Is it fast? Is it slow? How is it for you? Let me know. Então, tá rápido, tá lento? Como é que tá isso aí para você? Me sinaliza aí. 80%, that's good. Claudia has been practicing your listening. That's awesome. That's amazing. And that's the beauty, right? We can only improve what we practice. We can only improve what we practice. A gente só consegue melhorar do que a gente pratica. So, what is the definition then that I got from Wikipedia, right? Suffering is experience of unpleasantness and aversion, and its corresponding negative emotions. Suffering is the I'm reading so that it's clear, right? Suffering is the experience of unpleasantness and aversion, and its corresponding negative emotions. That's the definition that I caught from Wikipedia for suffering. So when we talk about emotions, we gotta understand that an emotion, something that I feel, is not based on what is happening. Is based on something between what's happening and what I feel. Is the layer of meaning. What kind of meaning do I give to what's happening? I said that I'm not going to say in Portuguese, so I'm not going to translate. So the reality is, tonight is Thursday, it's cold, that's the reality. Actually, that's not the reality. The reality is that the temperature is probably around 13 or 12 degrees. That's the reality. When I start getting angry because of the temperature, is because I'm giving a meaning. And the meaning could be, I don't like cold weather. I don't like cold weather. That could be the meaning. So the meaning is what is causing me to get angry or to get happy. Some people may say, oh my gosh, it's 12 degrees outside. That's so good, right? It's possible. So the difference between what's happening and the feeling and the emotions that I have is the meaning. The meaning is what's causing me to feel happy, sad, angry, or whichever way I choose to feel. Does it make sense so far? Do you follow what I'm saying? There is a delay. There is definitely a delay. So, can you understand what I'm saying? Let me know. So, when we talk about suffering being this aversion, what are we talking about aversion? Aversion is because I'm giving a negative meaning to what's happening. So if I feel a certain way because of the meaning I give to what's happening, right? If I change this meaning, I can feel a different way. So if suffering is related to the expression, to saying that something is negative, it means that I'm not accepting what's happening. So suffering, in essence, is about not accepting what is happening. Do you agree? Do you agree with this simplification that I've just done? Suffering is when I'm giving a negative meaning to what's happening. Make sense? So usually what happens is I have some expectations. I want it to be a happy life tonight. I want it to be a happy life. Tonight, I wanted to have more people watching this live. That was my expectation, right? So, is the reality matching the expectation? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, right? So, what do we usually do? When it doesn't match expectation, we get frustrated because the meaning we give is that it's only going to be good if it is as I expected. So that is the distinction that we need to be aware of. The difference between expectation and reality is usually, and the meaning that I give for this difference is what causes me to suffer. Do you follow what I'm saying? Vocês conseguem acompanhar o que eu tô falando? Tá fazendo sentido? Does it make sense? Essa parte aí onde eu vou checando, eu vou falando em português. Porque tô tendo muito pouco retorno de vocês. Mas vamos lá, vamos seguindo. Let's keep on going. So, I need to confess something. The reason why I picked the subject is because, thank you, Claudia. The reason why I picked the subject is because last week I was suffering. In the beginning of last week, I was suffering. Why? Because I expected something to be a certain way, and reality was not like that. So I suffered. And that's when I realized, that's the topic for the live. Then I did the same, I covered the same subject last week, all in Portuguese, and now I'm bringing it to you in English. So what was the meaning that I was giving, right? Sorry, teacher, I need to drop. This live is amazing. Congrats, I really appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry that you cannot stay, Marcio. You can watch it afterwards, okay? Hopefully you can watch it. And maybe next Thursday you can be with us the whole time. Thank you. So why do we suffer when our reality is different from our expectation? Why do we suffer? Because we have dreams, we have goals, we want different things. And we think when things go a certain way, it tells me that I'll be successful in my dreams, to achieve my dreams, right? And so when reality matches expectation, I'm happy because I feel that my dreams will be fulfilled. I will achieve my dreams. So the thing here is, why? Why, if reality is different than my expectation, can I still achieve my dreams? Yes, maybe I can. So, but there's a secret here. It will only, I can only benefit from reality. I can only stop suffering if I accept what's going on, if I accept reality exactly as it is. When I accept reality exactly as it is, that's when I can stop suffering. But it's not automatic. It's not automatic. What we need to do is look for our objective, accept that this is happening, find good things here, because sometimes what's happening is even better than what I expected. But I cannot see yet because my vision was limited. So once I open my mind, then I will see the positive things in what's happening, the positive aspects. And it could be that this is even better than what I expected. There is a quote that goes like this: sometimes not getting what you want is a huge strike of luck. Why? Because sometimes we want this to happen and we can't. But when this happens, this is much better than what we expected. Diane, também, welcome. So sometimes not getting what we want is a huge strike of luck. But we can only see that if we accept reality as it is. That's only when we can stop suffering. Does it make sense so far? Do you follow what I'm saying? Let me know. So that's the definition. That's the definition. So what I want to cover here now is what are the sources of suffering, right? What usually are the things that causes us suffering? Not on specifics, but on major areas, right? So in general, there are 4 areas that I consider, right, that we look into our lives. One area is relationships, and relationships are usually a strong source of suffering. And why relationships are a strong source of suffering? because people are different. Hi, Luciano. Luciano, is easy for you. This is easy for you to follow. So why relationships are usually hard, a source of suffering? Because people are different, and we expect them oftentimes to be exactly as we are, but they are not. And they are mirroring to us parts of ourselves through the relationships we have with colleagues, with our families, with our affectionate partners, right? Our kids. That's when we have close, intimate relationships, and they mirror back to us aspects of ourselves. So the relationships that make us happy, usually they mirror the good aspects of us. So I look in the mirror and I said, yes, I am great, I'm loving, and I have a loving person right in front of me, a person who's very similar to me. But oftentimes they mirror our worst part. And if you have a difficult relationship with someone, make sure that you evaluate what in me is causing me to having problems with this person, to have a difficult relationship with this person. Usually we say it's the person is this, the person is aggressive, the person is boring, the person is passive, or whatever, right? But we don't realize that there is one finger pointing towards the person, and there are three fingers pointing at me. So whatever I say about other people, right, it's talking about me. What if you cannot choose? Actually, the thing is, sometimes you cannot choose the people who are around you, but you can choose how to react, how to feel, right, when you're talking to them, when you are interacting with them. So if we are suffering in the relationships, there is something in us that needs to be looked, that needs to be healed, right? Because we all have wounds from the past. We suffered in the past based on something that happened, right? And we gave the best meaning to what was happening. So we can sometimes choose and say, I don't want to deal with this kind of person, right? At work, sometimes you can do that. In family is different. Family is different. But what happens is, if you avoid some types of people, right, you will find those people in other places because you attracted that kind of person close to you. There is a part in you who needs that type of relationship with that person so that you can look yourself in the mirror and evolve. We are all here to evolve in general. So when we feel the way we feel, it's because we have something to learn. It's because we have something to learn. Does it make sense, Luciano? Does it make sense? So one source of suffering is relationships. The other source of suffering is health, right? I say that there are four aspects, right? Four big areas. Relationships is one of them. Health is another one, and especially now, right, during a pandemic, there is a lot of suffering. Thank you, Luciano. There's a lot of suffering going on because people are getting sick, people are in the hospital, right? So there is a lot of problems that we are facing. We are stuck. We are stuck at home, right? Most of us, we are stuck at home, right? And then we say, oh, what can I do? But the thing is, if I accept, the sooner I accept what's going on, the better, the faster I can overcome that challenge. Hi, Tamiris, it's good to have you here. So the sooner I accept what's happening, the faster I heal even my health, because what I believe in terms of health is when I get sick is because my mind is sick, right? So if I keep repeating the same, it's like an old record, right? If I keep repeating the same things over and over again about what's happening, right? This one is easy for me. Yeah. And you've done a lot of work on you, right? Especially with regards to health, because you are exercising more and all that, right? So the thoughts we have will create our reality. The thoughts we have will create our reality. So when we do get sick, is because there were emotional problems, the emotional patterns, and those emotional patterns were created by mental patterns. So if I keep repeating, right, like me, even myself, I am not diabetic, right, but I am pre-diabetic. My sugar levels are high, to be honest, right? And here I'm an open book, right? I don't have anything to hide. So my blood sugar is high, higher than the limit, right? I'm not a diabetic, but it's higher than the limit. But when I look back, I realized I would say, oh, I will get diabetic when I get old. I did say that. Why? Because I believed, well, if my parents got diabetic, if my mom's uncles, my mom's brothers and sisters, right, were diabetic, right, and then I defined that for myself. And now I've been thinking, why would I repeat that? How can I deal with this with more exercise, with a proper diet, so that I avoid getting diabetic? But the mind controls most of it, right? So health is another source of suffering. So, but the thing is, it's an invitation. Whenever we have a symptom, is an invitation to understand the message from that symptom. Even a little headache, right? When I have headaches, when I can, I just breathe real deeply, and then I just ask, what can I learn from here? What is the message here? Sometimes it's telling me, oh, you're not eating properly. Sometimes the headache is telling me that I'm not sleeping well. Sometimes the headache is telling me that I'm not exercising enough. Sometimes that headache is telling me that my posture is not good, right? So there is always a message from a simple headache, but from other symptoms. So any symptom that is repetitive, if I don't examine it, then it can become a disease. So we always have opportunities to deal with it before, right? To deal with it before. And then when people are sick, and sometimes they are at the hospital, if they don't pay attention to what they're thinking, their situation may get worse. But if they elevate their thought, if they think about positive things, if they create mentally a future of them getting out of the hospital, getting back home safely, seeing their family, interacting with their families, right? When they do that, then their health improves much faster. Their health improves much faster. So a source of suffering is health. The other one is money. And then we don't realize that we are brought up with mental thoughts. So whatever I believe is a combination of what my parents used to believe, the environments where I went through believed, right? If I'm not conscious about my thoughts, I'll repeat them. And the majority of people have, I'm I'm thinking in Portuguese, and the word in English is not coming. So a lot of us, we are thinking in terms of limited resources. Is the mentality of scarcity and not the mentality of abundance. If I have a mindset of abundance, I will find abundance. I will create abundance for myself also. But I need to realize that the mindset of abundance or the mindset of scarcity is the same for everything. So I didn't think that I had hi Milene. I didn't think that I had a scarcity mindset, right? Until one moment I realized, wait a minute. I don't think time is, I think time is scarce, because I'm always telling myself, oh, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. So the question I ask you is there anything that you think you don't have enough of? Is there anything that you think you don't have enough of? You don't need to say what it is, but just tell me yes or no. Is there anything that you think you don't have enough? Because in essence, what this is telling you is you have somehow a mindset of scarcity and not a mindset of abundance. So even if I say I don't have enough money, I don't have enough health, right? Or I don't have enough love, right? Or I don't have enough satisfaction at work, which is the fourth area that I was going to talk about, right? If I feel that I don't have enough, yes, and we always do, And what this is telling us is that, oh, wait a minute, the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So sometimes we don't realize our thought process, right? For Bruno, so good to have you here. Sometimes we don't realize what our thoughts for money, right? But I, in my case, I didn't realize my thought process for money, but then I realized my thought process for time. And I said, I do not believe time is abundant, right? Because I was a slave of doing the same things over and over again, of making sure that everything was perfect, and that was consuming a lot of time. The minute I started saying, oh, I am the one controlling how I use my time, that was the minute that I started having more abundance financially also. It may sound tricky, it may sound crazy, but it's the same process. It's like there are abundant resources. So instead of limiting myself and saying, I can't do this because I don't have time, I can't do this because I don't have money, right? If I'm thinking about what I don't have enough, that's what I'm creating. But the minute I start thinking about what I want, that's where my mind is focused on. That's my genie of the lamp, right? I'm telling my mind, oh, I want this. This is what I want. Milene is here. Milene is an expert in that also. She's done amazing work in terms of transitions in her life. And Lily, I didn't have a chance to say hi, but I'm glad that you are here too. So whenever I think, oh, this is not enough, I don't have enough love, I don't have enough health, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough satisfaction at work, right? I have to do the other way, which is, okay, what is it that I want? I need to see myself there achieving all that, right? Having love, money, the best relationships, having fun, enjoying the work I do. So I've done a lot of changes in my life also. I turned my life upside down. Why? Because I was not lots of changes. Because I was not having enough love. I was not having enough satisfaction at work, right? I was having problems with my health, because I was not happy, right? So I turned my life all the way around. I transitioned work, I transitioned relationships. As good to have you here too. I made a lot of changes. Why? Because I'm pursuing this future life that I want. But the key is, I don't need to wait to be there, right? Thank you, Milene. I don't need to wait to be there to feel how I will feel when I get there. I need to create this future version of myself. And I love what I see. That Angela over there is amazing, right? And I want you to do the same thing for yourself. See yourself in the future and say, wow, put everything that you want, the types of relationships you want, the kind of money you want, the kind of profession you want, the health you want, doing the things you enjoy, right? Create this amazing version of yourself. But take one step, the next step, which is, how am I going to be when I get there? How am I feel? How is that Angela in the future there feeling? How is that Luciano, Milene, Cesar, Lilia, Liliane, Tamiris, right? Lucia, whoever is still here, right? How is that person feeling? I can see that. I can see that happiness. I can see that life, that joy. I can see that love. I can see all that she is doing, right? So how can I feel that right now? I don't need to get there to feel all those things. Why? Remember what I said in the beginning? Expectation and reality. If I pay close attention, I can focus on the good things that are happening right now. Can you see good things around you? Good things in your life? Simone, good to have you here too. Can you see the good things in your life right now? Because the minute you focus on those, you feel great and you are closer to that future version of yourself. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Let me know. I know that in English it's a little harder to process sometimes, but your feedback is very important to me to make sure that you can follow my train of thought. Anna, good to have you here too. So these are the 4 areas that can cause us to suffer. 4 big areas. And what do all of them have in common? What do all of them have in common? Usually a dilemma. A dilemma. And a dilemma, by definition, is 2 things, right? Either this or that. I can either, same here. I can either have this or this. This is a dilemma, right? And what we say in NLP is when we have only one option, one choice, we are a robot. We are a robot, right? So because the robot can only do one thing. It can be that this thing is turn. Right now we have those vacuum cleaners that go on the floor, right? Those are robots also. So they only go one direction. And for them is hit something, cover as much area as you can, right? That's the one program, one single thing. When we have 2 options, we are animals, fight or flee, right? We are in danger. We either fight or we fight or we run away, right? So when we have only 2 options. We are animals that don't think, but we are human beings, and we can only call ourselves human beings if we can at least have 3 options. If you can have more, that's even better. The more, the better, right? But you need to have at least 3 options. So a dilemma is a cause of suffering. A dilemma is a cause of suffering. And that dilemma may show up as, in terms of health, right? I'm in the hospital, or I have a very important person next to me who is in the hospital. right? I don't want that person. I didn't want that to happen. I'm not accepting reality, right? So what would be a third option, which is I will do as much as I can for that person to feel loved, to feel hopeful that she or he is going to get out of the hospital, right? That is another thing that I can do. So a dilemma is a cause of suffering. And in order to solve a dilemma, to find other possibilities, so if I only have two, I need to find others. I need creativity. But if I am feeling afraid, if I'm feeling scared, if I'm feeling angry, I cannot access my creativity, because these are very basic emotions, right? And I cannot be creative. So I need to somehow accept what's going on, see good things in what's happening in my life, and that's when I can access creativity. And we were all born creative people. So we have kids around us, right? Most of us here have kids. Some of them are grown already, right? And some of us here even have grandkids, right? Kids are what? Kids are joyful. Kids are playful. Kids are creative, right? So all of us were kids once. So if you connect to your inner child, that happy little kid you used to be, you will find your creativity. You'll find your creativity. So another thing that I think it's important to say in terms of the emotions, right? Because sometimes it's not automatic for us to switch from a negative emotion into a creative emotion, or a neutral state, or a positive state. So one key here is to realize that all emotions are here to serve a purpose. Anger, for instance, is here to show us get into action, do something, right? Do something to change things. That's what anger is for. But usually people demonstrate anger towards somebody else. But I cannot control the other person's behavior. I can only control my behavior. So usually when I get angry, my focus is, what can I do to turn this around? What is there that I'm not seeing? What goes beyond what I'm seeing that it's causing me to get angry? Remember that I said between reality and the emotion that I have is the meaning that I give, right? So what else can I see? What other meanings can I give here to dissuade a little bit this anger or the sadness, right? Sadness especially, right? Hi, Monica, good to have you here too. Sadness also, right, is usually here to make me feel powerless, Usually that's what sadness is. So when I add creativity and I see possibilities, then I start to feel better. So I was talking about dilemma, and there's a famous quote from Walt Disney. Last week when I had to say his name, I blocked. That's funny. I don't know what's going on. So there's a famous quote from Walt Disney that he says, where he says, if you can dream it, you can do it. If you can dream it, you can do it. So whatever dream you have, it's possible for you to achieve it. You just have to do the work. There's work that you got to do. And sometimes the work that we got to do is much more a matter of working on our mindset than on doing the work. Sometimes the hardest work that we have to do is in ourselves. And that's the point where we can stop suffering. That's the point where we can work to stop suffering. So the other thing that I want to say is there are two stages in terms of suffering: the unconscious and the conscious. I said in the beginning, right, that I used to work for IT. I don't know if I said it or not, but I used to work in IT, and then I turned my life around and took courses in coaching and NLP and many courses, including overseas in California. So when I was working at Dell in the beginning, I was unconsciously suffering. I had pain on my back, right, on my upper back, on my neck, and I just felt that. But I was like, oh, I gotta keep on going. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I was like a robot. If you think about it, I was like a robot. I was not in a dilemma, right? Then when I realized, when I became conscious that I was suffering, then I was in a dilemma, because I wanted the money that I could get from IT, right? But I didn't want to work that crazy hours, that crazy environment that I was working. It's an amazing company. I learned so much. I had so many amazing opportunities, but I allowed it to consume a lot of me. And then I was in a dilemma. I was suffering because I was in a dilemma. I wanted the security of a safe paycheck at the end of the month, every month, right? But I didn't want to be stuck in an office. Time to start and time to finish. Actually, I didn't have time to finish. Usually I would stay up until very late, and then being, how can I say, being requested from at home. Oh, you're spending too much time at work. I said, yes, that's part of what it is, right? Self-awareness is the key. Self-awareness is the key. And I met Anna there at Dell. And Aninha, you're here too. Good. So self-awareness is the key. So when we pace ourselves. When we have self-awareness, we can pace ourselves and then find time and observe. There are times when we are working crazy hours. And even now, I'm not working for anybody. I'm working for myself. I became an entrepreneur. But if I don't pay attention, maybe I'll work too much, even for myself. So we have to be aware, right? We have to know our own system to see if we're working too much or not, right? So there are two stages, unconscious and conscious. So sometimes we are suffering unconsciously. We're not even conscious that we are suffering. Then we have to become aware of it. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. There's got to be more to life than this type of life that I'm living, right? And then you stop working, you stop doing, getting busy, right? And then you start looking up and saying, oh, wait a minute, there's got to be more. And then you start creating all the different possibilities, right? So unconscious and conscious. So what are the keys to stop suffering? What are the keys to stop suffering? I brought 5 keys. I brought 5 keys. And now is the time that you can get your piece of paper and start taking notes if you want, right? So first key is, this thing that is causing me suffering, is it under my control? Because if it's not under my control, I cannot keep fighting against it. Politics, is it under my control? No, it's not. Is it worth for me, at least for me, is it worth for me keep discussing about this politician or that politician? No, it's not under my control what they are doing, right? So I just let go of it, and then I don't suffer about it. It could be a different thing. Creativity is fundamental for new possibilities. Exactly. Thais, good to see you here. And we had an amazing mentor, right, Mileni, when we went to Argentina to take training, to get training from Stephen Gilligan. And we talked a lot about creativity. And it's all about getting ourselves into that creative state. So when we are in a dilemma, when we are in crash mode, we cannot see possibilities. So we have to accept what's going on, and then we can access that creativity inside of us. So first key, is this something that it's under my control or not? That's the first key. Second key, accept what is not under my control. Because the more I fight against it, the more I complain about it, and there are several people out there who can only complain. And they complain about the politics, they complain about very many things. Was one of the best trainings in my life. Mine too. Mine too was like the cherry on top, right? We've done so many amazing trainings in terms of NLP and hypnosis, right? And Stephen Gilligan was the cherry on top. Very calm, and we could model his way of interacting with people also. So accept what is not under my control. It's not under my control. I'm not going to fight against it because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. The universe is abundant, and our mind is powerful beyond measure. Our mind is more powerful than we can imagine. So whatever you can think about, it's possible for you to achieve. So and the universe is guiding you to give you the tools, the possibilities. But if we are stuck in, oh, it's gotta be this way, right? But life is showing this way. I'm not going to get there. So I'll give you a personal example. I worked for 5 years, right, in an NLP school. And when I joined that NLP school, the vision I had for myself was, I will die living here, right? I will die working here. That was the vision that I had for myself. That's true. What specifically is true, Anna? I said so many things. Oh, that our minds are powerful beyond measure. That's probably what it is. So that was my vision. I will work here until I'm very, very old, right? And then reality was showing me that no, this life on this NLP school that I was living was not healthy for me anymore, right? Was not fulfilling anymore. Because I could not exercise the creativity that I had. I could not be free there anymore. So the reality, I was fighting for a long time with reality because I wanted that vision. And that vision was limited, saying, I will be happy working until I'm very old. And I said, if it's here. And reality was showing, it's not going to be like that. And then I took a brave move, which was, okay, I'm out of here. I'll start my own company. I'll start my own program. I'll start my own project, which is to help people overcome their limitations in English. If reality was exactly as I was expecting, I would still be there. I wouldn't be here. See, Steve Jobs says this, we can only see the dots looking backwards. We cannot see the dots looking forward. We can only see the dots looking backwards. So anything that happens to guide us to a better version of ourselves. So whatever happens, say thank you. And then now is the next key. What is here for me to learn? So if I wanted this and reality, the universe is presenting me this, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? To make sure that I become more expanded than I used to be, right? So that was key number 3. What can I learn here? What can I learn here? Key number 4, access your creativity, especially if you are in a dilemma, right? Remember, if you need, get some pictures of yourself very young, or get close to a little kid, a baby, right? And you can see how amazing those babies are, very creative. I remember playing with my nephews and nieces, and when they were little, right? And it was amazing because we are creating this imaginary world, and we have plenty of creativity. So if we get into that mode, into that playful mode, and we ask ourselves, what else is possible? What other possibilities are there that I haven't seen yet? What other solutions are there? There's gotta be a solution. Everything that happens for a reason, to help me. So who am I to say that this is not getting me there faster than before, right? Than my expectation. So when we open our minds for that, then we can see the signs, the alternatives. And it's not rational. Oh, I'll write down and I'll draw the possibilities. Sometimes it's not like that. It's just, okay, I trust that a solution will come. I trust that the healing will come for a health problem. I trust that the best will happen, right? And then I just wait and be alert, because I will receive some information on the next step that I need to take to get closer to the solution that I was asking for. Sometimes people around you, sometimes people who you don't even know, they are talking about something, and that's the connection for you to think about a solution to the problem you have. I don't know if this has happened to you. Has this ever happened to you? That you just said, okay, I accept what's going on. I need to get there. I don't know how to get there, but I trust that I'll find a solution. And then somebody or something brought you the next step to get there. I don't know, has it happened to you? Let me know. And the fifth key is, once you access your creativity, then you'll find alternatives. Then you'll find alternatives to solve the problem that is causing you suffering. You'll find alternatives. So I'll just recap the 5 steps. Number 1, is it under my control or not? Number 2, accept what is not under my control. And even challenge, right? Is it not really under my control? Is there anything that I can do to influence, to help influence, right? Number 3, what can I learn here? What can I learn here on this reality that is showing different than my expectation? What can I learn about me? And usually it's about me. Access your creativity is number 4. And number 5, you'll find alternatives. I don't know how it was for you. I'm impressed because it's already 9:34. We've gone way past 1 hour live. Let me know how it was for you. And remember, I am launching the 3rd edition of the Journey to Flow in August. Agora é a parte que eu volto para o português, né? Quero saber como é que foi para vocês. Foi fácil de entender o que eu falei? Não foi? Foi difícil? Quantos % do que eu falei aqui você conseguiu entender? Porque quando a gente coloca em percentual é um feeling, mas não precisa ser nada acurado. É essa sensação assim, tá? Não tô me sentindo bem, porque quanto mais eu vou me sentindo bem ouvindo em inglês, mais eu vou querendo ouvir em inglês e mais eu vou desenvolvendo, né? Então, eu tô lançando o John. Thanks so much for sharing this with us. Oh, thank you, Milene, for being here. It was a good practice for you too, although you have plenty of practice over there. So I'm launching Journey to Flow in August. So before August, in July, I will start the Free to Flow, which is the 100% free program. Eu voltei pro inglês, né? Então, lá em julho, eu já vou lançar o Free to Flow, que é o programa antes do Journey to Flow. Termina o Free to Flow, é onde eu abro as inscrições pro Journey to Flow. Vou lançar depois, né, o Master Flow. Então, se você é um empreendedor, se você já fala inglês e quer ter oportunidades para praticar mais a tua conversação enquanto você se desenvolve com outros empreendedores, num programa onde a gente se ajuda, né? Uns ajudam os outros, um mastermind mesmo, totalmente em inglês para empreendedores. A gente vai estar falando assuntos sobre empreendedorismo. Já me manda uma notinha aí, manda um direct, que aí a gente já vai começando a desenhar isso. E falei que era para ficar ao final, eu quero Master Flow. Se eu sabia, tu tá aqui na minha listinha, Mi. Eu falei que ia ter uma surpresa, né? Então, faz um print, sabe? Faz um print. Até vou desabilitar aqui os comentários temporariamente. Faz um print. Bota nos teus stories, me marca, sabe? Diz o porquê que valeu a pena estar aqui hoje. O que te trouxe estar aqui hoje. E aí depois, me marcando, eu vou te mandar um vídeo que vai te ajudar também nos teus desafios, tá bom? Então, eu quero agradecer, assim, do fundo do meu coração, pela presença de cada um de vocês e nos vemos na quinta-feira que vem. Eu não sei ainda, vou ativar aqui os comentários de novo, eu não sei ainda qual é o tema. Eu acho que tem a ver com solidão, com liberdade, esse dilema entre solidão e liberdade é o que está me vindo aqui muito forte. Então, provavelmente vai ser o que eu vou abordar na semana que vem. Aí na semana que vem já vai ser inglês e português, então inglês com tradução consecutiva para o português, porque eu vou alternando esses três, português, inglês, depois inglês com tradução consecutiva para o português. Para quê? Para que as pessoas tenham a oportunidade de praticar o inglês e para que eu ajude pessoas nos níveis mais variados de inglês possíveis. Muito, muito, muito obrigado pela presença de cada um de vocês e nos vemos na quinta-feira que vem, tá? Um beijo no teu coração.